Alright, the best of all Godzilla toys 2023. Now, this year there was quite a lot. We got everything from Bandai, X Plus, Super 7, Prime 1 Studios, Easy Hobby, Mondo, Playmates, Monogram, Haya, of course, W Dragon, Band Presto with their Ichiban Kuji, and Tamashii Nations with SH MonsterArts. Even Funko came into play. What else? We got so many things to choose from. Hot Wheels, can you believe it? So yeah, lots to choose from for the year of 2023, and I couldn't fit everything on this table, so we have more than what we see right now. There's a lot more. If you stick around to the entire video, we'll go through every single Godzilla toy or figure that was released in the year of 2023. I believe I got all of them. There might be one or maybe a few I missed, and if I did miss anything, feel free to put in the comment below, and I can give you my thoughts. So we got tons of things. I think this year Bandai went all out with their movie monster series. There's a lot of new sculpts and even some reissues. So a lot of different variety from the classic Toho Godzilla series. There's a lot of imagination going on at Super 7 with their 1200 degrees. And Mezco, I forgot to mention Mezco. They also came out with some really cool surprises this year. So really fun stuff. Mondo, I think they're nailing it with their Sofubi line. Yeah, and I'm really enjoying, and it's hurting the wallet quite a bit. This has definitely been quite a year, and 2024, I feel there's a lot more to come. Alright, and we forgot to mention Art Spirits, so let's start off with the letter A. Alright, and so Art Spirits, the Hyper Solid Modeling Series. We have Godzilla 1954, Godzilla 1989, Mecha King Ghidorah, King Ghidorah 1991, Godzilla the Ride, and Godzilla 2002. Alright, we have Bandai. They came up with a ton of things, so not to mention Godzilla -1 figures, but we have variations of Showa, Heisei, and Millennium as well. So let's look at Godzilla -1 figures. We got the Theater Blue exclusive. We got the Odo Island version, the Godzilla Store metallic version, the standard version, and there's a big one. This is the King O, or the Monster King series. So that's kind of like a 10-inch, 30-centimeter scale. Alright, celebrating the 50th anniversary of Godzilla vs. Megalon comes the Godzilla Store exclusive Godzilla 1973, Metallic Jet Jaguar, and Metallic Megalon. There's no shortage of Shin Godzilla. We have the Godzilla Store exclusive Moonlight Shin Godzilla and the Shin'Yun Universe Copper and Metallic. And now we have, for the very first time from the Super Nintendo Super Godzilla video game, comes the character Gigan in the movie monster series. Definitely very, very cool to have him. We also have the return of an 8-inch movie monster series, Mechagodzilla Kiryu from Tokyo SOS. Returning from the 50th memorial box is the 1955 Godzilla in a new grayscale color, and a new sculpt for Anguirus 1955. Ebirah and Baragon gets new sculpts. We have a chocolate Hedorah, a crawling Hedorah, kind of a land form Hedorah, and a summer colors for Hedorah. 1975 Godzilla and Titanosaurus also make a return from the movie monster series. And we have a new sculpts in the Heisei series. So we have Mothra 1992, Batra 1992, we have King Ghidorah 1991, very, very gold. And we also have the Rose Biollante for the very first time a Bandai figure. King Ghidorah here is the new sculpt compared to the older one, and actually looks pretty nice. I think Batra and Mothra are good, but the paint kind of is lacking. So of all these, I think Rose Biollante is the one that stands out the most. It even has a lot of articulation for a movie monster series. Alright, we also have more Heisei. We have Fire Rodan getting a new sculpt, as well as the Mechagodzilla 1993 and the Godzilla Store exclusive Super Mechagodzilla. Very interesting that there's a ton from the Heisei line. From Godzilla Final Wars comes Godzilla 2004 and new sculpts for Monster X and Mondo, Kaiser Ghidorah, and Hedorah 2004. Now Hedorah is definitely a great looking one for, in my opinion, so it's really nice to see new sculpts. From the art exhibition event exclusives come this Godzilla 1954 maquette from Bandai, as well as this 1991 Godzilla coin delivery parking version. So it's like a parking lot street artist for this kind of blue Godzilla, but the maquette is definitely very, very nice and exclusive to Godzilla the art, as well as the coin parking delivery version of 1991. Very, very nice. Kind of trying to and then here is more of Godzilla -1. This is the Big King O, or Kaiju King series. So you can see the size difference with the standard 6-inch Bandai. A brand new series from the Bandai Premium Japan website is the Ultimate Toho Monster Godzilla 1974. You can actually swap the head out with a Gashapon bust. So here it is. It's like a smaller version of a Bandai figure. There is actually some articulation. The tail, arms, and legs move. So very, very nice. And here are the Bandai Gashapons. You have the Godzilla 1962, Godzilla 1974, and 1984 from their respective movies. And of course, for the 1974 version, you can swap out the head, so you have the open mouth head on the body. That's a very cool feature, but I think Bandai is being very greedy here. They should have just included the two heads for that asking price of, I think it was like over $80. From the Bandai Premium Japan website comes the Kaiju Out of the Law's Beautifully Done Ghidorah and Go-Go. We also have Bandai Premium's Fantasies Gigan. So very nicely done. I think the Bandai Premium Ghidorah and Go-Go are definitely huge upgrades from their 4-inch 1997 releases in the box set. So these two look great together. I'm hoping Aqua Mothra and Rainbow Mothra might get the same treatment in the near future, because I'm really digging this Ghidorah. It even comes with swappable parts, so you can have Ghidorah's kind of upgraded wings, and you can switch them back to the old, not the old, the kind of closed wings without the two horns sticking out. So let's switch out the wings here. So this is what Ghidorah's first form would look like. Box art is very beautifully done, and I think this is very close to X Plus quality. There are a few seams, and there's quite a ton of articulation, minus the, I really wish there was like a head swap. You can have an open mouth and a closed mouth, but it looks like they are playing tribute to the original box set. And you can actually fold the arms in, so you can kind of make the Ghidorah in a swimming pose, as well as switching him to kind of like a crawling pose as he does in the movie. So very, very nice. More Gashapons. We have the Godzilla -1, the War of the Gargantuas, Gyra and Sandra, and also Gigan 1972. Very interesting choices. The Fantasies from Bandai Premium, we saw the Gigan earlier, and there was also this kind of mint-colored Hedorah. Alright, from Bandai Namco are their prize figures. This is the Shin Japan Hero Universe. We have Shin Godzilla in the back, Shin Ultraman, Shin Kamen Rider, and Shin Evangelion. There was also this Godzilla -1 kind of deformed figure. And let's take another look at that Shin Japan Heroes universe. So very, very nice set here. And Shin Godzilla is done pretty nicely. I kind of wish there was a little more paint, but otherwise pretty good looking sculpt. And the purple paint is nice, just kind of missing the red though. I mean, if there was a little more red on there, I like, this would be a contender for a great affordable figure. Bandai Namco also had this prize Godzilla -1 figure, and it's okay, I guess, but for a prize, if you won it for 500 yen or something, it's not bad. But if you're paying what they're asking for, $25, that might be a little much. Alright, from a puppet, Softbee puppet mascot series, this is the second set from N-Sky, I believe. As of this recording, I did not get a chance to open them, but I did see them in person at the Godzilla store, and they look just like what they look like in the box. Ezhobi is back with their Alpha Kaiju series. There are 3 versions of the Godzilla 2021, so that's the Heat Ray version with the initial Heat Ray, Battle Damage with the Jet Fortress Argo, and the Classic External with the Monster Zero Skull. And my favorite is the Eggman Plus Godzilla Ultima Heat Ray version. They look really nice. Alright, Funko Pop is back with some Godzilla Singular Point items. So of the Heat Ray, there's like an exclusive version, normal version. We have Mei Camino with Pelops 2, a normal Godzilla Ultima, and a Mothra from the 2019 Entertainment Earth exclusive. FYE has their own Burning Godzilla Nightlight. I can't remember the exact company, but it seems like this is an FYE exclusive. I don't know about you guys, but I love Burning Godzilla, and the asking price originally was $100, which I felt was too much. I waited until the price went down to, I think it was like $50 or $40, and then I kind of caved. For that price, it's still overpriced, I feel, but as a nightlight, it's kind of unique. I kind of wish there's translucent material on Godzilla himself, not just the fire. That would have been better if Godzilla was glowing, not just the fire, but it's a nice silhouette in the dark. This is definitely an interesting choice that FYE went with. The teeth is just horrendous. The silhouette is fine. I think it's a nice silhouette, but details and the painting of the teeth is definitely not up to par to today's standard, and definitely not worth $100. Hiya Toys, we covered these in a lot of detail. We had Mothra 2019, King Ghidorah 2019, Rodan 2019, Godzilla 2019, Burning Godzilla 2019, Heat Ray Godzilla 2021, and the normal Godzilla 2021. Hot Wheels, who would have thought Hot Wheels would have Godzilla? So we have the Nissan Skyline GTR R32 with some Godzilla decals on the side. And I just found out there's an R33 out there. I need to hunt that down. I'm not sure if it was this year or last year. There's also these monster trucks, so very nice. Banpresto Ichiban Kuji has some really nice figures. They first came out with the Godzilla 1995, the Yuji Sakai Hong Kong Landing version. This is a shrunken down version of their X Plus release. Terrible paint job. The promotional photos definitely looked a lot better for their Burning Godzilla. There's just way too much yellow on this one. I mean, as much as I love Burning Godzilla, this is quite a disappointment. What is very interesting though, this is the normal like prize A, so this kind of was the sought after prize. I don't know if it was really sought after seeing what the final product looks like. There's also these black dots on his chest, which I don't know what's going on here. Otherwise, I think the sculpt, even though shrunken down, still looks pretty good. I actually preferred the non-burning version, which is the last one, which means these are lottery figures, so you have to be the last person on that day to get the last ticket. And actually, I really prefer this non-burning version. This would have been a great contender for one of the top figures of the year if it wasn't kind of like a sort of like a reissue. There's a shrunken down one. However, Godzilla -1, this is the last one version with the blue coming out, so this is super cool. Yuji Sakai, according to them, is Yuji Sakai, but I feel it's a 3D sculpt, and then maybe Yuji Sakai approved it. I love how it's translucent on the dorsal fins. There is a prize A, which is a non Heat Ray version. I ended up skipping the Japan version because the aftermarket prices are outrageous, and when I was in Japan, pretty much all the stores did not have it in stock, so I opted with getting it through Amazon for a more like a normal price of 100, around 95 US dollars. I think this one I paid $400. Definitely way overpriced, and the Godzilla store just announced them. They're releasing it for $125, so I'm kind of kicking myself for not waiting on this one. Mega House, a very underrated toy company, has produced the ultimate article Gigan. This is a 30cm figure that features lights and sound. Great sculpt, lights, and sound effects. Paintwork is pretty nice. The sculpt, I would say, is on par with X Plus. The paint, although it's kind of like a clean paint look, might not be the as good as X Plus, but it's pretty close up there. I think this is a great light up. The sound effects is pretty cool, except it's super loud, so yeah, you don't want to play with it at night. Very surprising, Mezco finally delivered their ultimate deluxe Godzilla 1989, and this really nice box set of Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 1974. They all have these really cool accessories. I think this is the very first time seeing Mechagodzilla have his physical eye beams and the reflective beam for King Seesaw. New sculpt for Godzilla 1974, which is appreciated rather than reissuing the same sculpt. King Seesaw and Mechagodzilla, they look pretty good. But I would say this Mezco 18-inch lights and sound is very impressive. I was actually quite surprised how good it looks. It's almost on par with the X Plus Gigantic series. This one has articulation, sound effects, lights, so it's adds to the play value. So I think if you're looking for a gigantic and articulated figure, this is definitely a great choice. Very surprised and very also the eyes have they feature the glass eye, so I'm very impressed with what they come with. So check this out. So to activate the sound effects and the lights, you would pat Godzilla on the head. Very interesting. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The light is okay. I think it picks up better. Very bright in the mouth. I think the back fins, there's some light bleeding, but otherwise it's okay. Mondo is back with their Sofubi lineup, and they are looking very nice. Tons of variants for Biollante and Space Godzilla. You have the original, I think it's the Midnight color, Cherry Blossom, and then the I think this was the Sparkle. I forget what it's called. The glitter one. There's too many versions, but it's really nice. You have the Space Godzilla original, Cherry Blossom, the Trendy or Trendmasters influenced, and the Super Godzilla influenced colors. The problem with Mondo is they tend to let bots buy up their inventory, and you would have to pay kind of ridiculous aftermarket prices from scalpers on eBay. I normally don't recommend supporting scalpers, but I had no choice to give in for this trendy Space Godzilla. Monogram is back with a brand new Chibi Mechagodzilla bank and more bag clips, Series 4 and Series 5. As of this recording, I have not opened these bag clips, but you get an idea from the box art. And Playmates has more items this year. They had the Godzilla vs. Kong Hollow Earth playset, a Titan Tech Rodan, and the last of the classic Toho series of Baragon 1965. Prime 1 Studios, impressive as always, has their Godzilla vs. Kong Final Battle diorama, two versions of the vinyl Godzilla 2021, a Kong bust, and a battle axe for Kong. I only have the diorama and the heat ray version of the vinyl statue. So the vinyl statue comes in at 40 centimeters tall. It's smaller than the final battle diorama, but pretty much it's a mirror image of the 3D model. So movie accuracy, I would say the sculpt is pretty accurate. Sculpt is okay. I think the paint applications is a fail for the price of 700 plus shipping. The bigger statue in the diorama is definitely impressive. I think just the way it's set up, it's just very impressive to look at. Again, I think Kong has a lot of accessories, which is pretty nice. Unfortunately, I personally feel it's way overpriced. It's also unnecessarily heavy. Godzilla surprisingly is not as heavy, so I have a feeling he actually might be vinyl, whereas the base and the buildings are resin. Kong is definitely resin or polystone. Again, I think if you go into a close-up look, I think the paintwork definitely could use some enhancements, especially for the price of 7,000 or maybe even more plus shipping. Prime One Studios also had an 87 centimeter version of their Godzilla 2021, two versions, heat ray and non-heat ray, for about $2,700. Super 7 had quite a year for Godzilla with their reaction line. We have a Technicolor Gigan Rodan, a New York Comic Con exclusive glow-in-the-dark Godzilla 1962 and Gigan. There's also the normal version of Godzilla 1962, a Shogun Rodan. There's also a Godzilla, the skeleton of Godzilla with oxygen destroyer, Godzilla train biter, a green Marusan. We have the Jet Jaguar flying version, Godzilla 1974, Mechagodzilla 1974, Megalon, Minya, and there were these blind boxes with a black Mechagodzilla, Firefighter, Jet Jaguar, Medic, Jet Jaguar, a normal Gigan, glow-in-the-dark Megalon, glow-in-the-dark Godzilla 1974, and the glitter Godzilla 57, and normal color Godzilla 57. There's also a San Diego Comic-Con King Ghidorah, and the San Diego Comic-Con Hedorah, normal King Ghidorah, normal Hedorah, normal Godzilla 1984, and a very special half-transformed Mechagodzilla, as well as a dark-colored Shogun Rodan. Super 7 also has the Godzilla Ultimates line, which is an 8-inch articulation series, starting with the Heisei Godzilla 1989 Biollante Rose version. They also have the Dark Horse Comics inspired Godzilla Thirsty for Blood, New York Comic Con exclusive Heat Ray, Godzilla 1989, Burning Godzilla 1995, Glow in the Dark Shogun, a normal dark green Shogun. There's also Destroyer, Final Form version or Perfect Form version, and a Heisei Mechagodzilla 1993. One of the coolest of their ultimates is this 1200 degrees Godzilla 1995. This is the first meltdown Godzilla that's kind of actually in the state of meltdown. Was showing off his bones and kind of all the flesh melting off his body. So very memorable scene in the Heisei Godzilla series, and this is the first time a toy company has actually reproduced the meltdown sequence. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed. Although the sculpt for the most part is great, I think some of the Godzilla scales parts could use some enhancements. It also comes with this Godzilla skull. I kind of wish they flipped it, or maybe have a third head, because it would have been nice to have an open mouth with the half melted head. Tamashii Nations is back with a few offerings. I think one of the most anticipated ones would be Godzilla -1 or Godzilla 2023. They did a reissue of Mecha King Ghidorah with kind of burnt holes in their wings, which is very nice. Godzilla 1991, which looks very similar to the 1989 offering. Gigan 1972 looks spectacular. And a red clear version of the translucent version of the Shin Godzilla. Of course, Shin Godzilla makes another appearance in the SH MonsterArts lineup. I think this is like the 5th or 6th rendition of it. Let's first look at the newcomer, Godzilla -1 or Godzilla 2023. First impressions, I think the details are pretty good because they use the 3D model from the movie. I think when you look at the face though, kind of zooming in where the teeth are, I think could have used a little bit more refinement and maybe more definition for the teeth. It's a little too white and maybe too clustered. Other than that, I think it's really well done. I think it's a hit or miss for the face. I've seen some pictures where the face looks great and other pictures where it's not as good. Mine's kind of in between. However, Gigan 1972 looks spectacular. I think the sculpt is on par with X Plus, as well as the paintwork. It's a very nicely done Gigan for its size. Articulation is really nice, and I think the only thing to be careful is the tri wings, because it's a little bit fragile. So other than the just being careful with the wings, I think Gigan makes a great addition to the MonsterArts lineup. Shin Godzilla is back again. This time it's the 4th form night combat version featuring translucent material. I personally think this is definitely a better looking one than the original release, only minusing the tip of the tail. I think the tip of the tail was better on the first release. So the clear material is cool, but at the same time I think it's only nice on the head area and the back fins. When you look at the body and the tail and the thighs, I wish they kind of defined the lines where the red should be, rather than just rely on the red material. It's kind of just like one blob. Mecha King Ghidorah reissue, definitely a much nice upgraded version. I love the new wings, which you can swap out to have the kind of burnout holes on the wings. I think it's very cool. This is the first time we've ever seen it on a major production figure, and I just wish there's some more smoke effect where the holes are, but it's still a great release, definitely superior than the original one. Next up is the Tamashii Nation store exclusive, the Godzilla 2019 Night Color Edition. They're definitely milking the sculpt here. We have a lot of these. So if you have previous ones, I'd say this is probably an easy skip. The paint is, I would say, better than the 2021 edition, and it does mimic a night color version of Godzilla 2019. So don't know if you need all of them unless you're a completist like me. W Dragon, no stranger to dinosaurs, but new to Godzilla. They definitely have proved themselves to make wonderful figures or statues. Their first offering was King Ghidorah 2019. Definitely one of the best looking King Ghidorah figures to date. A beautiful paintwork, sculpt is very well done, and I think the only zonk would be is the stand to keep him from falling over, which happens a lot to most of the King Ghidorah figures out there. The second offering is Godzilla 2004 from Final Wars. Very nicely done sculpt, very suit accurate, with a matte colored finish. The third offering, and in my opinion the best of W Dragon so far, is Godzilla 2000. Just look at the sculpt and the paintwork. It looks so good. The pose is great. Feels just like what Godzilla 2000 appeared in the film. And to my surprise, I actually think it's better than the 3D scan X Plus, which came out earlier this year in 2024. So I think this W Dragon Godzilla 2000 is just wonderful. Love the paintwork, the details in the mouth, teeth, claws, and all the little grooves. Perfect figure. X Plus, one of my favorite companies, has produced a lot of figures this year. Plenty of reissues, some new sculpts, and even new product lines. So A lot to choose from, and if you missed out on any, some of these reissues are great pickups because they're actually much more superior than the original releases. So a lot to choose from, and from different sizes, different effects. You have some light up effects. Sometimes you have the some bonus items. So really cool stuff. All right, let's start off with the 30 centimeter series. So we have the Toho 30 centimeter series. We also have the Favorite Sculptors line 30 centimeter series. And yeah, I think celebrating the 5th anniversary of the Shin Godzilla statue on Hibiya Square is this red clear version. So it features a translucent material, which surprisingly looks pretty good. At first I didn't really like it as much, but close up in person actually does a pretty good job. So if you're a fan of Shin Godzilla, you may consider picking this one up. From Monster Maker 2028 comes the Favorite Sculptors line Mechagodzilla 1974, complete with Spacium Beam in the light up effects. This is the Rick Boy version, and you can also switch the light up effect to the normal eyes. The chest plate actually opens. I just didn't have the right tool to open it up without damaging the paint. But it's really nice. Mechagodzilla has plenty of articulation for an X Plus figure. So if you're a fan of Mechagodzilla, definitely want to pick this one up. Alright, next, Monster Maker 28 also made the Godzilla 1974 for the Favorite Sculptors line for X Plus. The Rick Boy version has light up white LED light up dorsal fins. So nice to finally have a 1974 Godzilla in the 30 centimeter series. The Godzilla and Evangelion Unit 1 hybrid makes a return in the 30 centimeter series. This time the paint is slightly different, it's particularly in the eye. There's no pupil, it's more like a kind of glowing eye. And he also comes with a stand for his right knee this time, because the original tends to fall over. So this kind of keeps him balanced. But I think the paint on this one is a little bit more, if my memory serves me right, it's more brighter. And also they came out with the Deforeal versions, so we'll cover those in a moment. Alright, the Toho Daikaiju series, or large monster series in the 25 centimeter scale, has 2 reissues and 2 new sculpts. So Biollante is definitely a fan favorite, and this Rick version has a light up effect. And the Godzilla 2019, this is like a light sequence version. I think it's called Night Color version. Has a really cool sequence lighting from the tip of the tail all the way to the tip of his head, and then the eyes glow, and of course the fire breath in his mouth. Godzilla Ultima, this is the Rick Boy version, features the light up dorsal fins and blue LEDs, which is great. Brand new sculpt for Godzilla 1992 with white LEDs. Godzilla 2019 returns from X Plus, this time with a new light up sequence effect. So this was offered on the Shonen Rick Boy website only. And what's different from the original is, rather than being painted blue with LED lights, this one is kind of painted in the normal colors with blue LEDs for the light effect. So it's pretty neat. I do like the light up sequence. I think it's fun. The only drawback is because it's kind of painted in the normal Godzilla color scheme, you don't have all that kind of cool blue around the eye area, the chest, and the legs. So it's kind of the feature is mostly on the dorsal fins. Alright, Godzilla 1992 finally hits the large monster series. So there was a 30 centimeter version and a Yuji Sakai 30 centimeter version. So this is the kind of normal 25 centimeter one. Godzilla Ultima, a brand new sculpt from X Plus. This is also all of these are shown in Rick Boy versions with the light up bonus. So this is kind of neat, but looks like X Plus has gone away with doing paint, blue paint. They instead use blue LEDs. Alright, Biollante. This is a fan favorite, so if you missed out on the original, you have another shot at this figure. So what's different is the very first one doesn't have the light up feature. So this one has 2 modes, a blinking mode and a solid light. Another difference are the vines are upright for this version to save on space during shipping. I believe you can heat them up and kind of make them go forward just like the original, but since I'm low on space, I kind of left it alone. I believe the paint is definitely more green on this one than the original that I have. The Defo Real line, so this is kind of like a chibi or deformed but realistic style of Godzilla. And there were a few offerings. One of the first ones was this gigantic Defo Real Godzilla 1954. The Rick Boy version featured not only the light up dorsal fins, but also a train where you can swap out the arms so Godzilla can hold and bite the train. Fans of Evangelion and Godzilla can rejoice with the Godzilla X Evangelion collaboration. The standard one can be bought from all the different retailers, as well as the Evangelion store. The Shonen Rick Boy version can be bought on the Godzilla store or on the Shonen Rick Boy website. This one features a light up effect. Alright, Godzilla 2004 gets paired up with Minya from Final Wars. This is the Shonen Rick Boy version. And also for the Shonen Rick Boy version of Godzilla 2003 from the movie Tokyo SOS, he gets paired up with a dead Kamibas. Alright, the Toho Maniacs line. This one has the controller of Planet X. So very unique addition to your Godzilla collection. The Gigantic series. Now collectors love these big boys. But the year of 2023 was a year of reissues with only just one new sculpt in the Gigantic series. So very interesting choices for the reissues. We also have a bonus item there for Godzilla 1962, and Kong was the only new sculpt. So let's first look at Godzilla 1962. So this version has the light up feature, and also has this kind of bonus character, which is pretty big. And I can't remember exactly which scene this cartoon character is from, but this was issued once for the 30 centimeter version of the X Plus Godzilla 1962, but I think it had like a box behind him. This time he's fully sculpted with showing his back as well. Alright, Kong 2021 is the only new sculpt in the year of 2023. So let's see. So Kong looks like Kong. No accessories, no articulation whatsoever. Surprised there's no battle axe, but maybe they'll reissue one in the future. Sadly, however, he's not in scale with the gigantic Godzilla 2019. And the 2019 did get a reissue. I think they call it the blue clear or like poster version. So just like the 2019 poster, he's all blue. I'm not sure what's going on here because it's not really movie accurate. The gaps on the tail were not fixed from the original release, so this is to me, it's a disappointing release. I was gonna skip it, but just because I'm a completist, I ended up picking this one up. However, this is the reissue to get. If you're a fan of Burning Godzilla, this is definitely a huge favorite. The original resin kit was by Ryo Oyama, and this is the fourth, I believe it's the fourth reissue. This is the final battle versions, which features updated paint for like a nighttime color, and some silver paint in the burning clear parts to reflect the light. The 30 centimeter Yuji Sakai collection. There were two new sculpts last year, and there were 3 versions of each. I only got 2 of the 3 versions. So the Shonen Rick Boy version features the light up effects, and the Godzilla Store version features clear material with silver paint. So we can see the Godzilla Store version is on the left, and the Shonen Rick Boy version is on the right. The standard version looks very similar to the Shonen Rick Boy version, except it doesn't have the light up feature. So yeah, I think I would say the Godzilla Store version looks nicer for the red and the purple paint. However, the Shonen Rick Boy version, really has a super cool light effect that has like a little animation going, just like Shin Godzilla does in the movie, where it starts off from his body and travels up to his tail. So that is very neat. The red is a little stronger on the Shonen, like the standard or the Shonen Rick Boy version. So that's why I sort of kind of prefer the Godzilla Store one. But yeah, the light up effect's just too cool. So I had to get it when they showed that off. So here's the Godzilla Store version. So you can see the blacks and reds and the purple contrast pretty well, but it looks like the sculpts didn't translate so good for the dorsal fins, in my opinion, from the original sculpt by Yuji Sakai. I've been really waiting for this, for Sakai to put this out in the vinyl form for X Plus, but it looks like sort of missed the mark on the dorsal fin sculpt. But still pretty good overall. All right, so the Godzilla 2000 maquette prototype model. So this was I believe, a second version of the Godzilla 2000 maquette. And this one comes with blue dorsal fins, which look great. I love the blue clear material. And the Godzilla Store version has a very neat light up effect. And if you look at the neck, it even has some sort of red paint on it. That's kind of cool. Very different than your typical Godzilla figure. So I wasn't a huge fan of this design. I preferred the original maquette of Godzilla 2000, but that red on the neck is kind of neat, so I do like it. And the blue, it's growing on me. So yeah, if Godzilla 2000 looked like this, it's more of a Heisei Godzilla style mixed in with a little bit of the Millennium features, such as the sharper claws and sharper toenails. The fangs and the kind of like the classic eyebrows. All right, so that was the Shonen Rick Boy version. Now let's go to the Godzilla Store version. So yeah, they're very similar. You can barely tell them apart. The main difference is the Godzilla Store version. The dorsal fins have, I believe, like a silver material underneath, so it reflects the light better. So it looks better than without the light on. All right, so Black Dragon Studio has joined forces with X Plus in their favorite sculptors line. And their first release was the Destroyer Perfect form, and the second release is the aggregate form of Destroyer. So both are in their Real Master Collection series, which is they preserved everything from the resin kit in a pre-painted and mostly assembled resin statue of Destroyer, and both the aggregate crab form and the perfect final form. Some parts of the perfect final form are vinyl. I believe the wings might be vinyl because they are much. It seems like they can take a little hit more. But yeah, the crab version, aggregate version, I believe the whole thing is resin. So you have to be very careful. So that's it. That's the full list of all the Godzilla toys of the year 2023. And quite a year that was. There's definitely a bit of everything, a little bit of everything out there. So, and now we're going to get to the best of Godzilla toys of 2023 with a few special categories. So let's see what makes my list. And Heisenberg, feel free to jump out if you have any special categories or any specific figures you would like to bring up, because there's quite a few of them and plenty to choose from. So I'm sure there's something out there for anyone, from small toys to large toys to Sofubi style, very artistic styles, to light ups, glow in the dark, play value. So lots of great stuff. Alright, so let's start off with the best reissue of 2023, and that goes to the X Plus Gigantic Burning Godzilla 1995 Final Battle version. You can't ask any better. Like, they took the amazing sculpt, the sculpt that's been around for some years, and then did a little bit of updating, mostly just paint work, and the paintwork alone actually makes it look even better. Like having the newer paint applications, the updated eyes, the claws, the teeth, with the silver reflective paint beneath the translucent parts to reflect it. It just looks outstanding. The original already looks great, as well as the other variants, which is the San Diego Comic Con version and the Frozen version. They all look really nice, but this one in particular, it really brings out that Burning Godzilla character with the glow. Now, if they came out with the smoke effect add-on, that would have been nice. And one thing I really wished is that they should include the light up. I'm not sure why, because the original resin kit had the light up, so it would be nice. Maybe they're saving it for a fifth reissue. but yeah, it's a really beautiful figure, and I'm very happy to have this one in the collection. If it was not a reissue, this may be one of the top 10. All right, so Playmates Baragon. This is the winner for the best value. I think for something that's under, I think it was under 15, maybe like under $20, like $15, $17, maybe $12 if you can find it at your local Target or Walmart. This is a great sculpt, a decent paintwork for the price. I think this is definitely. I kind of wish Playmates did more of the Toho classics, especially from the Showa era, because the Showa era you can get away with kind of being more toy-like. But as a matter of fact, this sculpt is really well done. Paintwork, I mean, of course, it can use a little bit more effort. Especially, what kills me is they stopped at the tail. Like, why? Does it really save that much more money? It kind of just ruins it. Yeah, but otherwise, like, a lot of articulation. As I mentioned, the sculpt is pretty good, and overall not too hard to find. This was available on Amazon for some time. Making it very accessible to toy collectors out there. The next category will be the best play value, and that goes to the Titan Tech Rodan by Playmates. So even without the Titan Tech, this is a really nice sculpt of Rodan 2019, and to add to the more the more interesting parts would be this kind of Monarch armor for Rodan. So you can open Rodan up and reveal some extra armor items, kind of like almost like a half transformer. Like, you can open parts of Rodan and transform him to have the armor parts. So that's some Titan Tech for you, and you can kind of lock that into place. So Rodan has some armor, some kind of like extra claws on his shoulders. This as of now, I have not seen Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire yet, so we'll see if Rodan makes an appearance and comes out with all this crazy armor. As we see, Kong has the Beast Glove. So maybe in the future or in the comics, the different Titans will get different armored power-ups. Here, Rodan wings can fold back for some reason. I'm not really sure what that is. It's almost like his flesh came out of his body. Open the shoulder wing. You can reveal some more mechanical parts. You can add some more claws. Some more armor. Surprised there's no guns. You would think since Rodan's flying, he would have sort of kind of like fighter jet guns or something, or maybe some thrusters to help him fly even faster. But yeah, I think the color contrast is pretty nice. The green, like kind of military green, the reds and the yellows, the silvers and the blacks contrast pretty well. What I don't like about this figure has screw holes, but again, this is a kid's toy, which is, I believe it was $15 when it first came out. So relatively inexpensive, very affordable, and yeah, there's just a lot of play value. You can do a lot with this Titan Tech Rodan. So if you haven't already, this might be one to pick up. Kids would love it, I would think, if they're into dinosaurs and kaiju. So definitely really nice to have. The next category is the best creativity, and that goes to the Super 7 Godzilla 1200 degrees version. Pretty much this is the meltdown version, but probably for some licensing issue that they could not use the word meltdown. And yeah, this is the first time, at least to my memory, like the very first company to produce a actual meltdown Godzilla during the meltdown scene in the final moments of the Heisei Godzilla in the 1995 film Godzilla vs. Destroyer, complete with melted dorsal fins. Like you can see lots of bones are revealed in Godzilla's. Not only is his skull, his tail, his left arm, right hand, and chest. It's pretty kind of scary looking if you think about it. Like even his leg and his toes start to show off some bone. He's that melted. So yeah, the chest area, and there's some his arm. So yeah, I mean, I think it's actually done very nicely to capture that moment in from Godzilla's final scene. And the translucent material isn't the greatest, but I think it does a good job to convey what they're trying to get at. Definitely the melting parts on the half melted head is very interesting. The full melted head, which reveals the skull, is very nicely done. The Heisei Godzilla skull, that's done very well. I kind of wish they had a third head where you can have like an open mouth but half melted face, just like the movie. But otherwise, very, very nicely done. Our next category, the best display, and if money was not an option, that goes to the Prime 1 Studios Godzilla vs. Kong: The Final Battle diorama. Definitely one of the most impressive items in the Godzilla collection ever would go to this one. The only problem is the price tag. So I think it's over $7,000, probably another like $2,000 for shipping. This thing is unbelievably heavy and takes up a lot of space. So so if space is not an issue, if money is not an issue, this is definitely pretty cool to have. Details, I say, it's pretty good. It's very good. But for the price, I personally would expect a lot more, just because I've seen a lot from X Plus, and I personally expected more because this is mostly resin, or supposed to be mostly resin. But you know, I think it's still pretty cool. If you are able to add this 3-piece set in your collection, I think definitely will draw a lot of attention to people coming to your collection. So nicely done, Prime 1 Studios. I am curious if they'll have more items for the upcoming film Godzilla X Kong and Godzilla -1. Seems like they do have something in the works, so we'll stay tuned to see what else might come our way. The best of Godzilla Toys 2023, number 10, goes to the Mezco Ultimate Godzilla 1989. So if you're looking for a big size, a large scale Godzilla figure that is decently sculpted and has some light and sound effects, this is definitely the one to go for. And this was a definitely surprise. I did not expect Mezco to actually put out such a nice looking figure, and overall I think I'm pretty happy with what it is. Articulation is kind of limited at best, and the tail uses the kind of like a metal wire. Alright, number 9 goes to the Mezco Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 1974 set. I believe this is the first company to actually produce the I-beams, the rainbow I-beams, the SHMA I-beams for Mechagodzilla, and even finger missiles, as well as King Seesaw's reflective I-beam. So I think the accessories sold me, along with a pretty decent sculpt, and not to mention the box art is not bad, even though it's just a poster. Number 8 goes to Mondo's Space Godzilla trendy variant. So there's a lot of nostalgia going on here with the Trendmasters colorway for their Space Godzilla Sofubi vinyl, soft vinyl figure. And the sculpt overall is pretty cool. I actually enjoyed their sculpt and all the different variants, so was able to grab a bunch of them. I think my two favorites are the trendy and the Super Godzilla colorways. The original's nice and the Cherry Blossom is nice, but I think these two, just because of the nostalgia, I think they did an excellent job doing it. Number 7 goes to the Bandai Movie Monster Series 6-inch Rose Biollante. It's so cool to finally have an official Rose Biollante figure in kind of like a normal scale release. We've been seeing some either like 4-inch candy toys or just smaller toys, so it's great to finally have a 6-inch one. And then number 6 goes to the Bandai Movie Monster Series Gigan. Now I was super excited when they announced this, because who would have thought this obscure video game character would get a figure of his own. So this is really awesome. I think this is based on the appearance from the CD-ROM Godzilla movie studio, I believe. So it's really awesome. The paint is pretty well done. Alright, number 5 goes to the Hiya Toys Mothra 2019. So Hiya Toys has been pumping a lot of reissued Godzillas, and then their King Ghidorah was pretty cool, and so was their Rodan. But of all of them, I personally think their Mothra hit it the best, minus the stand, because I really wanted the Mothra from the film, which featured both the kind of like the rainbow patterns plus that greenish blue glow, which this one captures. Articulation is very nice, and the details is really well done. So huge props to Hiya, and I hope they keep pumping out some awesome figures, articulated figures on the way. I do see they just revealed the Shimo and Godzilla Evolved not too long ago, so a lot of cool stuff on the way. New sculpts, I'm pretty excited. Alright. Number 4 goes to the Easy Hobby Eggman Plus Godzilla Ultima Heat Ray version. So Kan Lin, he has this magic ability to really improve on the Godzilla Ultima design, because Godzilla Ultima looks so cool and cute in this Eggman Plus figure with his S-shaped tail. And not only does he have a wonderful paint job, but he also captured that signature spiral ring atomic breath or heat ray, and complete with a light up base, so you can light up the translucent material. And it doesn't need a stand, which is pretty cool. Like the heat ray like kind of rests in his mouth, and I think I just love how the rings appear around it, just like the film. It's a very nice and clean look. So very, very cool, and I can't wait to see the Omega Beast gigantic version that's coming out on the way. Alright, number 3 goes to the Tamashii Nation's MonsterArts Gigan 1972. Now this Gigan is just perfect, and not only that, he's also articulated. So huge props to the folks at Tamashii Nations for producing this wonderful and beautiful Gigan figure. And all the pretty much almost everything of Gigan is movable, so it's really nice. And I think most of the seams are pretty well hidden. So and I love the visor, like the clear material where you can see kind of like the insides of the visor. If you can open the Gigan's mouth, you can see the teeth underneath that metal beak, and also his tongue. I don't know what they're called, like the side claws from the mouth also move. The only thing that I wish they allowed was make the buzzsaw move too. That would have been cool. The tri wings have been replicated very nicely. The only thing is just be careful. I think the wings are fragile from what I've seen from other reviews. But yeah, I think it's a really nicely done Gigan. The paintwork is pretty good. I want to say this is almost like Gigan, like fresh out of the factory. But I still love him. He looks great. Almost like an X Plus figure, miniaturized with the added articulation. So huge props again to Tamashii Nations for producing this wonderful figure. And I hope they keep this trend going, because their recent Monsterverse legendary items aren't as good as this Showa Gigan. Number 2 goes to the Ichiban Kuji Godzilla -1, the last one version, or the Heat Ray version. So this one was a prized figure, which in Japan you would have to win through a lottery. But now in the US, you can actually find this at a reasonable price on the official Godzilla store, so Godzilla.com. I paid crazy amount of money in the aftermarket, not knowing that this would reach the US. So for those who waited, you guys are in for a treat. Why I like the last one version better than the Prize A or the standard version? Well, I think the dorsal fins speak for themselves. They are just absolutely beautiful and look great on this figure. The pose is great, the sculpt is good, the paint is really good, and the only imperfections on the standard, from my memory when I saw it, were the eyes and the mouth area. But because of the blue, that really hides all the imperfections. And he looks great, very godlike, just like the movie. And there's a reason why they brought this figure to the to all their awards ceremonies and to the Oscars. So it's to this date, it's probably the best Godzilla -1 figure until Easy Hobby brings out their Alpha Kaiju. But yeah, I think this one is definitely a winner, and I highly recommend you to add this one to your collection. It's just gorgeous. If you're a fan of Godzilla and a fan of -1, this one I think deserves a spot in your collection. Alright, the best Godzilla toy of 2023 goes to the W Dragon Godzilla 2000. And my gosh, I think W Dragon nailed it. This is like the most perfect Godzilla 2000 figure to date. And the price tag wasn't too bad compared to the modern day X Plus prices. If my memory serves me correct, it was for importing it to the U.S. it came out to be around $230. And this is a 30 centimeter scale, so it fits well with the other X Plus figures. And everything about it, I think the pose, the paint, the sculpt looks good. I like that the tail uses a magnet, so it's nice and easy to put on. There is a little seam, but it's not too distracting. And I love the black highlights. It kind of, you can see it brings out the details on the figure. The purple isn't as accurate as the new Super 30 centimeter X Plus. But I think it's a good shade of purple, and I love this green color of all the highlighting. The claws and the toes and the teeth, super well done, and yeah, I think everything about it, I can't say, and yeah, there's just nothing wrong with it. It's just so perfect. And if you're a fan of Godzilla 2000, this one is a must. I think W Dragon really nailed it, and I really hope they come back with more stuff in their Godzilla line. And I do hope that the only thing is their scaling isn't consistent. So if they can kind of set on a scale and kind of stick to it, that'll be great. Because they do good stuff, and I hope they continue. So yeah, I think this is my pick for the best Godzilla toy of 2023. Alright, now to the opposite side of the spectrum, the worst Godzilla toy of 2023. And that goes to the Ichiban Kuji Burning Godzilla 1995. So it was a draw. It was almost a draw between the FYE Burning Godzilla lamp. I love Burning Godzilla, but for some reason 2023 they couldn't really get Burning Godzilla right, except for the X Plus gigantic reissue. For some reason they took Ichiban Kuji or Banpresto, they took the Yuji Sakai 30 centimeter sculpt and shrunk it down to this like 8-inch sculpt here, and or 7/8 around that scale. But the sculpt was fine. It translated fine. It was just the paintwork. Look at the toes. It's just really poorly done. Way too much yellow on the body, and there's like black dots on his chest for some reason. I don't know what's going on. It's completely different from what is advertised on the pictures and the boxes, because those look really good. It's just this one, I don't know what happened. So if you're able to repaint it yourself, this is an excellent sculpt to work with. So hopefully you can improve. Like look at the door, look at the back fins. I don't know what's going on there. Their actually last one, the non-burning one, is a lot better. So yeah, I don't know. They dropped their ball on this one. This could have been a great release. So there you have it, the best Godzilla toys of 2023. A lot of great choices, plenty to choose from, but these are my picks. Again, we can go down the list. We got the Mondo Space Godzilla Trendy variant, the Mezco Ultimate Godzilla of Lights and Sound. There was also the Mezco Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla set with a lot of accessories, which is really fun. There was also the Haya Toys Mothra 2019, the Rose Biollante from the Bandai Movie Monster series. There's the Haya Mothra once more. And of course the beautiful Banpresto Ichiban Kuji Godzilla -1. Easy Hobbies Eggman Plus Godzilla Ultima Heat Ray version. Bandai Movie Monster series Gigan in the 6-inch line. And of course the beautiful Tamashii Nation's Gigan 1972. But the big winner, the big two I would say, is the Ichiban Kuji Godzilla -1 and the W Dragon Godzilla 2000. So yeah, 2023 was quite a year for Godzilla toys, and 2024 I'm pretty sure there will be a lot more on the way, especially with the new movie Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. So yeah, these are just my personal top 10 picks. I'm curious to hear what yours are, so feel free to leave a comment below. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. You'll get a lot of cool high quality videos on the different product reviews and news on Godzilla and much more. And again, thank you so much for your support. Really help us bring a lot of this on our YouTube channel. So huge thanks to a great year 2023, and 2024 on the way. Alright, so till the next one, this is GForever signing off.